Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Ashley Conrad. Joining me today, Tina Womack with Blessing Health System. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here. I'm
Yes.
really excited
It's gonna
about
be a good
this conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. So you are a lactation consultant with Blessing, but you have a lot of letters behind your name. So you are board certified nationally?
Board certified, internationally board certified lactation consultant. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm also a nurse. I'm an RN. And then on top of that, I'm also a car seat tech. So
Yes.
so
Look at you, busy,
kind of
busy.
Jack of all trades.
And a
master of
mother
none.
and a grandmother, which
That's
totally
right.
blows my mind. It's just, yeah. Anyway, okay, so today we're here to talk about a subject that I love talking about with almost anyone who will listen, and it's breastfeeding. And that's because it's world.
World, yes, globe, around the globe.
Around the globe, World Breastfeeding Week.
Yes.
And I love bringing attention to this because there are a lot of conversations that are had about it, but also a lot that aren't.
That's right.
We were
That's
just
right.
talking about
Some
that.
people just don't feel comfortable talking about it.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Well, I do. So everybody's
too.
in luck, right?
Me too.
So
That's
hopefully, people who maybe don't know everything there is to know. Hopefully, we can cover a lot of that today.
Yeah, that's great.
So breastfeeding, of course, we know that scientifically proven benefits
Yes.
come from breastfeeding.
Yes, for
Even
mom and baby.
for mom and baby.
Yes.
We also know that it may not always be the easiest,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And we also know that a lot of new moms go through a lot of changes, and
Yes.
breastfeeding is completely, it's a whole new experience on top of a new life that you just brought in,
That's
on
right.
top of hormones.
Yes.
So let's run through some of to start, run through, I know there's a plethora of benefits, but
Yes.
let's run through some of the most notable.
So for a baby, it's very easily digested. It contains antibodies that can protect against infections and all kinds of diseases. It actually decreases the risk for SIDS and can actually decrease also the incidence of childhood obesity. So
Really?
those are some of the big ones, yes.
Wow. And of course, financially, especially
yes, absolutely.
today,
That's right.
breastfeeding, of course, is less expensive.
That's right. Yes.
If you can get, baby to latch and do it body to body, it can be very easy once you get the hang of it.
Yes, yes.
I'd say I didn't get the hang of it until my second kid.
Yeah.
It was just something that was
Right.
just never really super
Right.
natural feeling to me.
Right.
But I knew the benefits.
Yes.
Because like I said, I had my wonderful Aunt Kathy who helped me through learning how to do it, how the different holds,
Yes.
how to become more comfortable with it. So those, in mentioning that, what would be some of the difficulties? Because we know before we hit play that a fed baby, right,
Is the best baby.
Is the best baby.
That's right. That's
so
right.
breastfeeding
Absolutely.
may not be an option for everyone, but even if it is, maybe some people just can't or
Right.
don't want to.
Right, that's absolutely right. And that, like we talked about, a fed baby is the best baby. And, while a mom might be all gung-ho and ready to go, it may not work for them. And I always tell people that you need to enjoy your baby too, because, the time afterwards is so filled with so many new things, so many things going on. Is breastfeeding natural? It can be. There are natural parts to it. But, a baby hasn't learned to actually breastfeed,
Right.
in the womb. Their first opportunity they get is, when they've come out. They're not used to being touched. They're not used to all the sounds. They're not used to all of, the just different things, the lights, everything
Right.
out here. So, it may take a little bit of time. There's a learning curve to it. There are different ways that you can hold a baby to feed them, and some babies prefer certain ways to be held. And sometimes, a mom likes a certain way. It feels better to them, feels more natural.
Right.
But usually after a few days or, a little bit of help from, nurses or lactation consultants or even family members, usually after a few days, they kind of start getting the hang of it and they start feeling a little more comfortable with
Right.
it. And I just want to touch on, we're talking about, supportive family. statistics show that 90% of people who are successful with breastfeeding have a great support group behind them.
Really?
So, yeah.
Probably made up of previous breastfeeders,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, or even dads that are
Really?
just there just to take care of mom while mom is,
Right.
feeding the baby, or
Right.
partners, or whoever it might be.
Yeah,
So,
that was my husband's job. Get me
Yes.
water and get me something to eat.
That's
right?
right.
'Cause
That's right.
You have to keep your
I
energy
feed the
up.
baby, you feed me.
That's right.
Yes,
that's right. It worked out really, really
Right,
well.
absolutely.
After a while, because as you said, when you're first coming home, there's just this whole new whirlwind of stuff. And you sit down and you're like, okay, I learned how to do this in the hospital. It's all brand new to you and baby's screaming and you're engorged and there are things happening and you're like, oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Yes.
I mean, it brings back so many memories.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, but it's like if you kind of stick with it, like you mentioned, it does get easier.
Yes.
It's just something that you have to. I think you have to really want to do it.
Yes.
because it's not easy.
Yes.
and that when I asked
That's
about
right.
common misconceptions,
Yes.
you were like,
It's
it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually tell people that if someone told you it was easy, they probably didn't do it.
They don't
So-
know what they're talking about. Amen. Yeah.
Yes.
But of course, we talked about the benefits for baby and for mom. Of course, it helps with the connection.
Yes. The bonding. Absolutely.
Yeah. It also helped me just when I was wanting to escape the random visitors who would pop by.
Yes.
Oh, gotta go feed the baby.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I need a minute to myself.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it also benefits for mom. It decreases postpartum depression.
Mm-hmm.
Can also decrease the risk of certain cancers, ovarian, breast,
Oh, really?
thyroid cancers, decrease the incidence of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease later on in life. So
Wow.
lots of benefits.
Lots of benefits. Yeah.
Yes.
But of course, like we said, it's not always easy.
No.
It is a learning curve.
Yes.
You do have to have support, especially if it's your first time.
Yes.
Because it's a whole new.
It
it's
is.
a whole new
It
thing,
is.
right?
That's right.
Luckily for everyone who needs a little bit of support, even if they don't have that family backing, Blessing
Yeah.
offers
We do.
just that.
We do. Yeah. We have actually, several places in Quincy. Our local health department also has lactation consultants that, are available. We have actually our prepared childbirth classes that women, actually families, husbands, partners. Actually, I've had some moms of or grandmothers, that come to this group too, to kind of get them prepared for what's going to happen after childbirth.
Smart.
We offer those childbirth classes, and then we have our breastfeeding group that meets twice a week. We're called the Bundles of Blessings Breastfeeding Group. We meet every Monday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., and then also on Wednesday evenings from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. And then also, I'm available for lactation consultations during the week that parents can come and see me. I actually have a lot of quite a few of dads that actually come to even to our breastfeeding group, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that support for the moms.
That's incredible.
Yes.
Yeah. I love to hear that because it does tend to feel a little isolating.
Yes.
When you're learning.
Yes.
You don't
Yes.
know if you're doing things right. And of course, it's hard to tell if your baby's even getting fed
That's
if you
right.
don't really,
That's the
if
number
you're not
one-
seeing it, right?
That's the number one question.
Yeah.
How much is my baby getting? And that's another reason why coming to group is great, because we do a pre-feeding weight. Mom feeds the baby. I do a post-feeding weight, and we can tell exactly how much milk that baby took.
Really.
So, yeah. It's so amazing.
Gosh, I wish I would have done that. I don't know if it was available back then, but I wish I would have known that, there was someone out there that I could call. And
Yes.
there's no charge. Is that
No,
right?
no charge.
Yeah.
No charge.
That's
Completely
good to
free.
know.
Yeah.
That's
completely
excellent.
free.
Also, just real quick, so if someone is breastfeeding and they're not sure if their baby is getting enough food and they're not, coming to your group, what are some signs that they want to look for if they feel like maybe they're not
Great
getting
question.
enough?
Great
Okay.
question. There are actually three things. Do you hear them swallowing at the breast as they're breastfeeding, right? Because, in the first few days before that milk that mature milk comes in, as we call it,
Right.
You're going to hear just these little tiny, those are swallows, right?
Okay.
Then when that milk is really there and you're hearing that baby actually gulping.
Gulping,
That's
yeah.
one way to know, right? So we're
Such a
hearing swallowing.
wonderful sound.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dirty diapers, how many wets and dirty diapers are we having a day? That also tells us how much milk baby is getting. And then on the end of it is weight gain. Now, babies always lose weight at the beginning,
Right.
but usually after 3 to 4 days, we usually see that start to trend back up. And most of our, physicians in town that follow babies, they follow them very closely for at least those first few weeks until we know that they're actually doing well and gaining well. So
Yeah.
those are the 3 ways: swallowing, diapers, weight gain.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 main ways.
Yeah. Good to know. Yeah, because I went through a lot of those questions in my head, and then my girlfriend had a baby, and just bouncing back, she had heard me talk about breastfeeding, and I'm a very strong supporter, but also, as we said, a
Right.
fed baby is the best baby.
Right.
And she really, really struggled with it, and it was kind of mentally taxing for her.
It is.
So we talked about different things that she could do, even if she couldn't get, the contact breastfeeding.
Right.
What are some things people can do if they want to get some of the health benefits, but they can't do the body to body contact?
So pumping and feeding, and even if your baby gets 20% of breast milk, that's still something,
Right.
A lot of moms feel like that's a failure. It is absolutely not a failure. That's one thing that I like to do. I like to assess each situation individually.
Absolutely.
Are we struggling with latch? The other thing is, might not be anything that has to do with the mom. Might have all to do with the baby. Do we have, tight frenulums, a little tongue tie?
Right.
Or are the jaws a little tight? Do we need what we call a little craniosacral therapy? Just, because when babies come down, they,
Yeah.
they go through a lot.
Things move
are
around.
tight. That's
Yes.
right. And
Yeah.
so sometimes sometimes we just need a little bit of that in just assessing each situation individually and supporting them in whatever they want their breastfeeding journey
Right.
to be. That to me is the most important thing.
Right.
So
Absolutely, yeah. Pumping to a bottle,
Yes.
any of it. And one of the things we talked about previously as well, I struggled with my milk supply.
Yes.
So I wanted to keep breastfeeding. I think with my oldest, I breastfed for almost a year, which
That's great.
It was amazing.
That's
I mean,
great.
Again, at first it was hard, but after you get the hang of it, it's like, oh my gosh, it's a piece of cake, right?
Right.
So glad I don't have to make bottles all the time.
Right.
However, if it doesn't work for you, pumping and
Yes.
feeding the child through a bottle, and
Yes.
dad can help then,
That's
partner
right.
can help then,
That's
right?
still breastfeeding.
It is,
So,
right?
that's
Yes.
right. That's
and
right.
then supply, when I was struggling with, my second child, it was 6 months in and my supply was really dwindling.
Yes.
So I reached out again to my Aunt Kathy, and she connected me with a milk donor.
Yes, absolutely.
Which
I
is
think that's
becoming
great
more and more
too.
prevalent.
That's right. It
Yeah.
is. We don't actually have a milk bank here. I think the closest one maybe is in St. Louis, but I have people, moms in my group that actually have gotten donor milk from some of their friends. I just usually say, I want you to know that friend very well. What kind of medications maybe are they taking, that kind of thing, because your baby's not used to it. Their baby probably is, because
Right.
maybe they were taking it, prenatally, that type of thing too. So I just say, just know your donor well.
Right.
Know your donor well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's great.
It's
If
fantastic.
You've got a friend that is, over here on the oversupply,
Yeah.
and they've got freezers full
Freezers
of it.
full.
Absolutely.
Gosh, I was so jealous.
Yes.
But my donor was, an angel here on earth, and I still
awesome.
think, yeah.
That's
and
great.
I see it more and more often that people are doing it. Also,
Yes.
so thank you to milk donors.
That's
I go ahead
right.
and say that, right?
Absolutely.
Also, you see breastfeeding rooms, or more and more often, which I
Yes.
think is incredible.
Yes.
Because back when
employers supporting
Yeah.
breastfeeding moms.
Right.
Yes.
Even the
yes.
Adams County Fairground, they have like a whole
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
A trailer.
Yes, I love
yes,
it. Air conditioned,
yes,
right?
absolutely,
So
yes.
another benefit of
Right,
breastfeeding.
that's right.
But of course, we want to make sure that while it's very beneficial for mom and baby,
Yes, yes.
it's not for everybody. And I think I'm glad to hear you say that, because there are a lot of people who are like, breast is the
Yes.
only way,
Right,
breastfeeding, and it really can be disheartening.
It can. It can.
But I love the support. So let's run through your support groups again, and how
Okay.
people can contact you if they have any questions
Yeah.
or need any info.
So our breastfeeding group meets every Monday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And we meet at the 1107 College Avenue area. It's our bariatric center. It's a conference
Okay.
room there. Yes. And then we also meet that same place on Wednesdays from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. And then if they need to contact me, my number at work is 217-223-8400, and my extension is 8407. They can leave me a voicemail. I'll get back to them. If we need to meet individually, I'm happy to do that too. I just want to do everything that I can to help them. A lot of times if we can just get through those first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Those first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I also know those first 2 weeks are also
Pivotal, for sure.
the weeks that you are the most sleep deprived.
Right.
So
just a lot of changes
Yes,
going on, right?
absolutely.
All those hormones
100%.
and
Yes.
So love that you're here to chat about it.
Yes.
I could talk to you all day
I
about
know,
it,
we
of
could-
course.
we could,
yeah,
yeah.
Awesome. But thank you for coming in and sharing
you
your
so much for having
knowledge.
me.
Of course.
Yes.
And happy worldwide breastfeeding
Week. That's right.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
So good luck to all you new mothers who are trying the breastfeeding. Good luck also to the partners for supporting
That's
them.
right. Absolutely. 100%.
And if
Yes.
you need more help, I definitely recommend reaching out to Tina and crew at Blessing. They really know their stuff and they're there to support you. So,
Yes.
right?
Yes. That's right.
Thank
That's
you
right.
so
Thank
much, Tina. I
you.
appreciate
Thank you so
it.
much.
Absolutely. All right, coming up next, I sit down with DOB, and we're going to get your college kids ready to go. Watch out for identity theft.
The Tower, a great place to meet and eat. But did you know the Tower has one of the finest drink selections in our area? Along with its incredible Mexican menu, the Tower specializes in tequilas for every taste. Names like Patron, Cabo Wabo, and Hornitos. And don't forget the margaritas. On Mondays and Tuesdays, stop by and pick up a single topping pizza and get Tower margaritas to go. Enjoy the Tower at home or in our dining room, bar area, or the Tower's signature climate-controlled porch. The Tower Pizza and Mexican in Quincy.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too. Now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials and come check out the bullpen.
Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center. Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy.
Kelly's has been a fun place to eat and drink in Quincy since 1982. A fun and friendly atmosphere, food with flavor, homemade cinnamon rolls, and famous cheese soup, the best menu in town. Kelly's, 2902 Broadway, Quincy.
And we're back. Joining me now, my pal, DOB. What's up, Don O'Brien?
It's that time of year. Okay, so we last week we talked about just regular back to school stuff. By
Yeah.
the way, how is this? How much did we do damage to
Yeah,
back
big
to school?
time. Yeah, we definitely got it.
You took advantage of sales.
We did.
You had to pay sales tax.
It was tax-free weekend. We had to pay sales tax on a couple of items that were over a certain amount.
Okay.
Which means, yeah, we definitely.
So all in all,
we spent.
Team Conrad did well.
We blew the budget, but my kids were happy and they are prepared.
Okay, so we're going to talk something about today that you don't need to worry about for a while.
Well, my niece is heading to college.
Okay, well, good. So you can help the niece.
And she's going to Mizzou. I know that we were just.
That's
talking
That's a good SEC school.
Okay. So the guys were just here bickering about whose team is better, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, she's going off to college. So I love that we're talking about this.
So there's some things she's going to not want to do.
Okay.
One of those things is, we worry about identity theft for younger kids because they can be targeted. They have a total blank slate when it comes to credit usually.
Yeah.
So if somebody were to get their social security number, birth date, things of that nature, they can easily open accounts in their name.
Sure.
So there are a couple of things we want to do. Your niece is not going to want at Mizzou. She's not going to want to transfer her permanent address to wherever she's at from Mizzou. She wants to keep it with her parents' house or wherever she lives now with her guardian.
Gotcha.
So don't do that. Another thing. If you have somebody who's going away to school, whether it's first time, second time, whatever, they're going to do some on-campus work. Obviously, if they're going to on campus, off campus, whatever it is, they're going to get a job while they're at school. As part of that employment process, you always have to give your Social Security card or a copy of it. Well, don't let them have that card just hang out in their dorm room. Take it to the employer, get it back, and get it back to mom and dad into a safe place as soon as they can. Because if prying eyes find that, boom, they can take that information and they can run with it.
Do you think a lot of college kids have their Social Security card?
No,
I don't even think I knew where mine was when I was.
I mean, I keep mine. I keep both of my kids, and one's not in college, and the other one is older.
Yeah, I don't even think I knew what it looked like until I was.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
which is kind of a good thing, but still, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to keep that. You want to try to continue. You want to get into their head not to share that information.
Right.
Another thing that we get that we do have get some reports about are people who have done applied for credit cards. And you need to counsel your children on what credit is, and how that can be helpful and how there can be evils to it. I don't think a lot of kids, and I would include myself in this, back in the early 90s when I went to the great school of Eastern Illinois University, a public Ivy, if you will.
It's just because I mentioned Mizzou, he had to throw his in there, right?
Yes.
Got to balance it out.
They had the people sitting in there, the student union, they give you a little trinket, a little towel, or
hat.
A Stanley Cup nowadays, or whatever it might be.
Lots of travel points, etc., etc.
So you're going to get to trinket, and then you're going to sign up for credit, and you're just going to go, hey, oh yeah, that pizza's on me, whatever. Know what credit is. Teach them that it's not just free money to play with.
Yeah.
Because I was not educated well enough on that.
I don't think a lot of people are. I think it is something that we need to look at. I feel like maybe some of our local schools are looking at offering classes on credit, but it should be the parents. Take it upon yourself as parents to teach your kids what Credit Karma is, right? So that they can monitor
your credit.
Because I think there's also some, they're naive. They don't really know, nor should they before they head off on their own, right?
And as a parent, there's something you need to think about too. If they're not, if there's no reason for them to have that credit open, if you will, there's you can freeze your freeze your credit.
Yeah.
And that's something that even with your young kids, if the scammers somehow were to get their Social Security numbers, birth dates, they can open. How old's your youngest?
10.
Yeah, she could have her own credit card by some scammer somewhere.
Well, and I keep getting these things in the mail that certain systems have been breached and blah, 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 and it's affecting everybody. And I'm like, wow. So, I definitely need to do that.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Yeah. So,
I learn something from you every day.
Think about freezing that credit.
Yeah.
Another thing to do is to warn them about not warn them about their friends, but know that if you decide to give your friend your debit card or your credit card to go pay for something at the store that you guys both want to have, there's nothing that keeps that person from writing that in information and then all of a sudden taking your information and buying things on your card.
Yeah.
So
not telling you to be like, don't go stealing my stuff, friend, but be aware that it could happen.
It could without a doubt happen.
Yeah, especially new roommates that you don't really know very well, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And every college kid is pretty poor, if I remember right.
Other things, again, checking your credit report. Teach them how to check their credit report. They can do that easily online at annualcreditreport.com. Always check your credit and debit card statements. Again, in case somebody's gotten your information, you want to make sure that you nip that in the bud as quickly as you can. Another thing, guard your passwords. Don't just give your buddy your password to whatever it might be, whether it's your obviously not your email, but if you have any streaming accounts, because I know in my house I'm paying for the streaming accounts, and I don't want my friends or my son's friends to have access.
Yeah,
to
you
my
pop it open,
accounts.
you got 7 extra accounts on there, profiles.
Correct. And it's not as if you can buy, it's not as if you can buy things inside of those apps. Usually the streaming apps, but all your payment information is usually on there too.
And some of them you can rent, and
yes.
So good
be
tip.
careful. Just know just equip them to. It's going to be an exciting time, especially like for your niece, first time away from college.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun things ahead, but there are also going to be some pitfalls out there too, and we don't want you to fall into those.
Yeah, and going off to college, you need a little more than just a backpack and a dream, right? You got to have your credit report and keep that stuff close. Real quick though, I wanted to ask. So if they start getting like weird mail coming home, which I like the idea of having their address stay at home.
Yes.
Maybe as a parent, do your due diligence and kind of check their credit for them.
Well, you can do that. Yeah, I've done that for my kids too.
Okay, but I like the idea of freezing if they don't need it, which I don't recommend a credit card as a college student anyway.
And it's easy to freeze. It's easy to unfreeze. Let's say like you forget to do it. Let's say you did it to your 10-year-old now.
Yeah.
And let's say 8 years from now she wants to buy her first vehicle. And you're like, oh, we totally forgot we had her thing frozen, and she wants to buy her first car, and she wants to do it with
It's like button click, right?
Correct. Well, yeah, for the most part, you have to sit in the car dealership for a couple extra minutes, but
worth it.
So it can easily be frozen and unfrozen.
Love it. Well, yeah, if you have kids going off to college, also I need to make sure I don't leave my nephew out. He's been at college. He knows all this stuff too, right? So, if you're sending kids off to college, make sure you're preparing them, not only with their school supplies, but also financially and what to look out for, because it's our job, right? Unfortunately, we got to do that stuff, but today's world is what we live in, right?
Yep.
So, all right, DOB, always appreciate you coming in and chatting. I'll let you and Bob fight out the Illini Mizzou. I'll let you guys hash that out because I don't know anything about it. But anyway, always good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate
Absolutely. I think that does it for today's Daily Muddy. We'll catch you back here tomorrow for more.